you, and a really warm thank you to all of you who are tuning in right now for the sixth episode of Step Up with Natasha. And as I promised that I'll be bringing a very exciting guest this weekend, and I think I've fulfilled my promise. I have already given away a lot of information about him on the post, on the feed. So without dealing it any further, let me introduce you to the man. I can say that the light and night to your dwindling date land and Will Smith to your hitch. Ladies and gentlemen, please help me in presenting Sharam Namdarian.
Yay!
Yay! Thank you.
Yay!
Thank you so much, Sharam, for being on the show and for actually agreeing to be a part of it. And like, really appreciate your time and your energy here right now. Thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. And I think I have spoken about it a lot, many times before as well, that I'm really excited about this conversation. But I still would want to say it again on camera that I'm really excited about this conversation. For one simple thing that, all the episodes that I've had so far, they were more based on productivity and discipline and, how to be this and how to be that. And not many people are maybe not on that path, or they might not be successful right now. But I'm sure that all of us have had relationships, all of us have had crappy days. So I think a lot of people were able to relate to it. And to be honest, I generally do not know. I do not do like a question and answer. But ever since this was out that I'm getting a dating coach on the show, I have got so many questions and
Ah,
so many interesting questions that I was like, okay, chuck it. I think we're just going to delve into the Q&A. So
okay.
I have a lot of questions for you. So I'm sure that you'll be able to answer all of them.
Yeah, let's just jump into it. Yes, hello
Let's
everyone.
jump.
Yeah.
Yes. So before starting, I mean, if let's just lay the background, because
Yeah.
you have coached hundreds of people across the world. You
Yeah.
have coached men and you have coached women. So
Yeah.
now with that sort of wide diversity and experience, if I may ask now that, is there any one potent underlying problem that if you feel that if they just get this fixed, everything else would be taken care of?
That's a very good question. I am like, oh, that's so nice to hear. Um, all right. Just
Should I start the countdown?
no. I'm trying to put the answer into better words than what
Okay.
I'm thinking.
Yes.
Um, okay. A good majority of problems happen because men and women, I find, heterosexual, non-heterosexual, whatever, generally want the same thing. We just want love, right? We tend to want it in different forms. If there was like one thing that I could literally sum up 90% of what I do
Yes.
into like one thing, there you go. Then I'm done. It's clear. That's the end of the interview. It's going to be the same answer every time. It's
Yes.
unlearning. It's
Unlearning.
Yeah, so it's unlearning. If there's one thing that you can do, it's like unlearning and letting go of the. Am I allowed to swear in this, by the way?
Yeah, you can.
Okay, cool. Because I'll go on radio and I'll swear, and they'll be
Yeah,
like, they'll tell me off. Um, there's one thing you can fucking do. It's unlearn the bullshit ideas that we have. So
yeah.
it's like, so for example, if specifically when it comes to people's dating life, it's like, oh, you can't do this on the first date, you can't do that on the first date, you can't say this, you can't say that, you have to play games, or you have to be cool off and all that sort of stuff, right? Unlearning those games is a little bit scary. For example, people are, because I put this into words, I'm trying to like jam in a lot of knowledge, very, like you said, one thing, right? Put it very
Yes,
small.
yes, yes, I get it.
To summarize it very simply, we have beliefs that
Yeah.
keep us safe,
Okay.
which are good because at times we need to feel safe. But those very beliefs are things that hold us back. So, especially when it comes to our love life. So, for example, if I'll be working with someone and I'll notice that there is a belief that they have, it's like, oh, but everyone struggles in dating. It's like, no, that's your belief. It's not for everyone. It's then showing that person that it's 100% like it's a pattern that they have. Once they recognize that that's something that they believed, it's like there is space for something new. So it's like when you let go of your beliefs and your emotions that stop block you, you actually make space for something more. So often what I find is people's relationships end up working automatically because they're not holding themselves back anymore. If there's someone they'll like, they'll actually be able to say, "Hey, I like you," rather than, "Oh God, will they like me back?" It's like they're more comfortable with rejection, for example, because they're like, "Oh, but rejection is bad. I don't want to get hurt." Sometimes rejection is good. Sometimes all of these little tiny beliefs tend to hold us back. A really good example is someone I was working with was having issues around texting someone. So the issue that she had at the start was like she was afraid of being too forward in messages, texting someone. It always seemed to happen. She'd meet someone new, it was going really well, and then she'd overthink texting, and then she'd send out this huge like essay or something like that because she'd built up all of these emotions she want to say, and then it would go nowhere. Once we dealt with the reasons why she was overthinking, we let that go. We helped her let go of her bullshit around it, the beliefs she had that was holding her back. In the end, she would just say what she wanted to say,
Yeah.
and it started to work out a lot easier. It wasn't like she had to, "Oh God, I'm not going to do it. Oh God," because people can feel that. People can feel your shit, and they
Yeah.
can tell the difference between the real you and like the fake. Oh, I've got to play this dance you, if that makes
Right.
sense. So
Right.
my work is honestly about making people be a bit more honest, be more in flow,
Yeah.
and holding themselves back less. But yeah, so that's my one thing, and
Unlearn.
that's yeah, unlearn
Yeah.
the bullshit.
Yeah. I think that's very actually beautifully put by you. That so many times, the way we've been conditioned, our conditioning actually forms our beliefs, and then we actually stick to them, thinking this is the right way to do it. But when we know there's no actually particular any right way to do
Hmm.
anything, right?
Yes,
So
there's no particularly right there, especially in dating.
yeah,
And the last thing I want to put on that topic is that learning those skills isn't necessarily bad
yeah,
because maybe you needed those to keep you safe, or maybe someone needed to learn some skill sets or how to fight. For example, we're talking just before this call, right? You might need to learn some skill sets in order to help you feel safe. But then once that part of you feels safe, you can unlearn those things and be like, look, it's okay if we fight, it's okay if we don't fight. For example, what I find then like if you literally plug and play that sentence, it's okay if this happens, if okay if this doesn't happen, that's when people are at that perfect standpoint. Like it's okay if they message me back, it's okay if they don't. They tend to express themselves more and things tend to happen just very easily, very automatically as a result of that.
so are you saying that are you
Yeah.
saying that whenever I mean, even if there's a new relationship, so basically
Yeah.
whatever baggage that you've had from the past, just like flush it away and start it afresh, even in terms of that, like having nothing in, like no preconceptions and nothing, and just start on this new journey? Is it something like that?
That would be good. That would be
Which
good.
doesn't happen.
Sometimes that's not possible
Yes, yes,
because there we have a lot of baggage,
yes,
right?
yeah,
So if that's the case, I would humbly suggest, again, we're letting go of stuff, we're unlearning stuff, right? So I would humbly suggest that that person let go of the potential outcome. Because sometimes a date, for example, or
yeah,
someone you might see might just be an entree. Sometimes they're going to be the main course.
yeah,
Sometimes they're like therapy.
right,
You might meet someone who helps you let go of someone else.
right.
It's sometimes really hard to let go of that baggage. But if you can't, you can trust in the fact that the whole dating process will help you facilitate that as well. Because it's
Okay.
like you keep meeting the same people having the same problems until
Yes,
you unlearn.
yes,
It's
yes,
funny. It's really funny.
yeah,
Are you in
yeah.
a relationship, by the way? I should have asked. Okay, no. So this is triple relevant. I don't know if you're single, whatever, mingle or whatever, but this is, yeah. I'm trying
Okay.
not to get inside your head. Uh,
Okay. So, what is, I mean, in short, what is dating for you? Because you have coached a lot of people regarding this. What is dating for you?
for me personally,
Yeah.
I'm going to be very honest here. It's nothing. As in, like, it's something people do. It's not a big deal. It's not a
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah.
It used to be this huge enigma
Hmm.
that I was always like, why does it work? How does this happen? What is this? What
Right.
is that? I was trying to. The reason why I'm all about like unlearning is because I basically spent a long time when working with other people, trying to like plot out how it works, and it only got me so far until I realized like I have to let that go. Like there's too many layers. Dating is just two people connecting.
Yeah.
It's two people connecting. It's two kids connecting, two adults connecting,
Yeah.
two professionals connecting, two idiots connecting. Whether that comes with drinks, whether that comes with a relationship, whether that is just a flirt behind like you're going grocery shopping and you meet someone just in front of you. Like it's it's those encounters. They can be beautiful, they can not be beautiful, they can be lifelong. They don't have to be lifelong. It's another way of putting it to me. It's synchronistic because you'll always meet people if you're looking for someone. You'll always meet
Yeah.
people who are perfectly
Yeah.
aligned for you. So if you're struggling, you'll meet someone who'll help you struggle. If you're ready to meet someone, you'll meet someone who is ready for you. If you are, it's once you start to notice how beautifully timed the people that you meet are, especially in your dating life, it's like it's a lot easier to trust in the process and be like, look, it's okay if I meet this person. It's okay if I don't. It's okay if I'm okay with them. It's to me, it's also a spiritual practice sometimes because you get to see that it's a reflection. It's a reflection of who you are.
True that.
Um, one of the reasons why I got so obsessed in this is because before I was a dating coach, when I was like figuring out the lay of the land and all that sort of stuff, I would notice that if I had a breakthrough emotionally with my, say, for example, my mother, my father, if I was connecting with my sister, like relationships in general, all of a sudden something would happen. Like because I was single and ready to mingle. I was going crazy.
Yeah.
But the people I met changed immediately. All of a sudden, if I was like trying to meet people and I was always coming off as needy, I'd deal with that neediness, become okay with it, or I'd let that go or something. And then suddenly a new wave of people would come. So it's a bit of a reflection too. It's an interesting way when you look at it this way.
So
Um,
basically, it's like I guess you also said in one of your videos that, especially the one that you shared, that you really need to look at your own shit because
yeah,
that would tell you the kind of people you're attracting, right?
yeah, 100%, 100%. Even to the point now, I'm actually learning to apply this idea to other areas
Yes,
of life. So
yes.
I
I
think I
believe
don't
it
know,
applies everywhere. True.
yeah, everywhere, everywhere. But yeah, I hope that answers the question.
Yes, it does. So what I've done is that because we have so many questions, I have divided into a pre-dating phase, dating, and post-dating.
Cool.
Right?
Yeah.
Yes. And from pre-dating, I just have one question, but that question was really interesting. So one of our friends asked that how long to wait back to call or message after you have got their number.
Okay. Depends. Depends.
Yeah.
Depends. Depends. Depends.
Yeah.
Depends. Depends.
Yeah.
Right. So this is the whole unlearning thing. But
Yes.
if people want a very succinct answer,
Yeah.
really depends on the conversation. If the conversation you had was amazing,
Mhm.
then there will be no gap. Like this
Right.
is the painful answer. Like people want like a wait 3 days. All right, it's Sharam says 3 days, and it's like those are the answers that like really annoy me because like radio shows always want those answers.
Yeah.
The truth is, it really depends. If it was a genuine connection, you wouldn't stop talking. You know what I mean? Like you would just keep chatting.
Yeah.
You'd have a reason to text. Um, my general solution for something like this is if you're not comfortable, don't do it. If you don't know what to text, don't text. If you don't know what to call, don't call. Just let that go. Let go of needing to know the answer. This is more of unlearning, right? So you let go of needing to know the answer, needing to know what to say. Oh, do I do it now? I don't do it. I don't know. I'm going to let that go. I'm not going to worry about it for now. You put it out of your mind. You just do something else. And then pretty soon, in that moment, you'll find it'll happen later on. A really good example is I'm not going to say who. I never want to say who. But someone I was helping was going through, like they were finally in a point where they dealt with a lot of their shit. So they opened up their space for new people in their life, and there was someone that they're really interested in, and he was inviting her to a party, and she was unsure. Like this was so the lockdown laws in Australia were just opening up, so he could
Okay.
have a party.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Oh, I don't know. Do I go? Do I not go? I don't know." And I was like, look, what do you want to say? She's like, I don't know. It's like, then don't say anything. Wait till later. So we completely ignored it. And then 2 hours later, finally, there was enough time that she was like, wait a second, what about the lockdown laws? Is there enough people? So then she asked that. Turns out there was enough people. She went, she had a good time. But then it's funny because then those little waiting times, because he's probably thinking like, oh God, she hasn't replied. That's fun sometimes too.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's my general solution. There is no distinct time.
So basically, when you don't know what to say, just don't say anything.
Yeah, just don't say anything. Yeah. If it's not coming from a flow state, if it's like janky, if you're overthinking it, just don't worry about it.
Yes. I love that flow state thing. Yes, I absolutely agree. That if it's not coming from here, then there's no point of doing it.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
Okay. So now moving on to the dating phase, and this is one opinion that I have. I think this is such a beautiful mix because this is one question that I have received from many people, but with different perspectives. So I've got the same question from the men's side, and I've got the same question from the women's side. So men say that, one of my fans said that I get attracted to someone very soon, but then my interest also fades away equally that quick. The other way to put it is that guys end up setting wrong expectations. Like they start with all the intensity that they have, and as soon as they realize that the girl is interested in them, and then they suddenly take the back seat. And from the woman perspective, I got that talking or giving importance to them according to their own convenience, as in, when they are in that pre-date phase with their partner or potential partner. So, they start with all this, really charged up energy. But then as soon as they start showing interest, the females start showing interest. So they suddenly, it all mellows down and they start taking them that, okay, now I've got work, or I'll talk to you, or I'll entertain you when I have time according to their own convenience. So this is one problem that I've actually majorly seen in relationships. What is your take on that? Like how to actually deal with that?
So I would say instead of trying to solve that problem, because attempting to have a one-size-fits-all answer to this genre of problems is like trying to hit a moving target. Like every time you throw the answer, the target moves.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to solve that, I would recommend for these people to become more mindful of their emotions when it comes to these situations.
Okay.
So, for example, someone who is like, I'm trying to put this into very succinct words. It's okay for these situations to happen. The issue happens when someone thinks that that's an issue. Specifically here. So the reason why I'm saying this is because what will happen is someone will be like, oh, but I was too hot, right? I was too hot. I need an answer. Or like I was too hot and they ran away. It's like, then you start to believe something's wrong with you. But then if you were to accept that maybe that's just how you like to date, I'm really about helping people create their own unique style as well. If that's how you like to date, if you own that, you will actually stop fighting and it'll come off less weird. It'll come off more congruent. Like, for example, if I was to ask you what's more attractive, is confidence attractive or not being confident attractive? Like, you would say probably confidence is more attractive unless you had some issues that made you attracted to lack of confident people. But it's owning your shit.
Yes.
Owning that, which is really important. Let's flip it. What was the female side? It was the side of...
that the female said that, men talk to them, like talk to her, according to their own convenience. Like, they'll entertain or whenever they have time, not as much.
So then we come back to it. We be mindful of the reactions that we have. So if you're a woman, I'm not to assume, if you're a woman and someone is just talking to your own convenience, how do you feel about that? Do you feel frustrated? Do you feel annoyed? Right? So we're sort of looking at dating as a little bit of a healing practice, because then you can deal with that stuff, right? So do you feel frustrated? Do you feel annoyed? Are you hurt by this? Are you like, this always happens? Because that's what people often like. They're like, every time, this always happens. So I'm trying to put this into words. You feel frustrated by that.
Yeah.
But if you can recognize those emotions and let those emotions go, right? We want to let these emotions go. We want to like not worry about it, not think about it. We want to become healed. What I find is that the situation very soon solves itself, because what will happen is if you recognize you're annoyed, you'll stop letting people walk all over you.
Okay.
The only reason why people walk all over you is like, oh, they're only texting me at their convenience. They only do it at their convenience, never at mine, right? It's like we're suppressing our own emotions. We're not letting the real version of ourselves come out. So you might then say, because you gave me a huge amount of samples, all are very distinct, all are very unique. So I'm trying my best to answer it all with a blanket statement, right?
Yes.
This is why I love coaching calls. This is why I love working with people one-on-one, because it's like we can like zone in on the exact thing that's causing an issue. But it's these reactions that we have that we don't want that hold us back. So if we're like, we don't want to feel like someone is just walking all over us. But if you can accept that sometimes you're going to feel like that, and if you can be okay with that, then you might actually let it happen less, because you'll realize this is part of my life. You'll stop suppressing those emotions. I'm not saying you, I'm saying to whoever's in this situation. They'll stop suppressing those emotions. So then they'll be like, hey, this is what it's automatic. Once you heal an emotion, you heal an issue we have, we unlearn something, the results tend to be automatic. That's what I love. I'm a lazy motherfucker. I want the fastest way to get to results, probably like all your other people, right? So I found that emotional healing for me is the fastest way. So when I help someone else heal an emotion, it's automatic. Like they end up doing the things, saying the things, very automatic. So I want to draw a diagram. I don't know how much time we have. I'm gonna be very adamant about drawing a diagram here.
Sure. But if I may add to it and not obstructing the flow of your thought.
No. It's okay. I don't mind anything.
Okay, so if I may add here, like you said, that give space to your emotions, just let it come out.
Yeah.
What I believe is what she was trying to say is that also helps, not actually helps, that actually develops a lot of self-doubt. That, we started on a good note and now he started to take me for granted. That self-doubt, you want to say that, I should let that self-doubt out and I should be prepared for it, that, this is going to happen and I would be constantly facing self-doubts about my own self and still go on in this journey of dating?
That's a great way of saying it. Yes. Self-doubt happens.
Yeah.
If you try and fight the fact that self-doubt happens, you'll actually get less good at dealing with it.
Okay.
It's like saying it's like saying there's a mess in the house. You're like, there's a mess in the house. How do I ignore the fact that there's a mess in the house? So you ignore the mess and it gets messier.
Yes.
But if you actually accept sometimes you're going to be messy, sometimes dating's going to be messy, sometimes it's going to be shit, you will get better at it. You will develop a higher acumen for it. I'm not here to what I used to do, especially when coaching men, is I used to teach people basically how to be me. It's like, this is what I would say, this is what I would do. And it only got them so far. I'd connect with those guys like years later. Some of them are still close friends of mine. Specifically when I was working with men, there are very few really cool guys that I love. But it didn't stick. But the people that I would help deal with the fact that it's like, dating's gonna be shit. You're gonna get rejected.
Yeah.
They got better at dealing with the fact that it was going to be shit sometimes. They got better with dealing the rejection.
I think the whole fear part gets taken away. Like something that I'm trying to ignore when I'm like, this is gonna happen. Right?
Yes,
you're comfortable with that, you're in that space and you're like, okay, it'll happen, it won't happen. I get it.
100%.
Makes sense, absolutely.
Thank you for helping with me that, by the way. I was trying to answer too many questions at once, and
it was too many perspectives right at the same time. I understand that.
And that's fine. See, this is me. I'm completely okay not being able to answer a question. Okay.
No,
And I'm
but I
like,
think what you said makes absolute sense. But I don't know, like, how many people would be able to accept it, right? In the sense that, they'll be like, but that is the whole problem. Like, I have self-doubt. How should
yeah,
it makes sense what you said, that rather than running away from it, just it is like the world is coming to an end. The world is coming to an end. Now tell me
yeah,
what best you can do. It's like don't react, respond to it. I guess
yeah,
that's what you're trying to say,
yeah.
right?
So can you accept that you can't accept it?
Yeah.
He's like, yes, I can. It's like
Bingo.
the tower. That's why I'm all like, I want to draw a diagram. Is because there tends to be layers. There's like the real you
Yeah.
that the goal for me as a coach is to help that person shine, right? Then
Yeah.
there's layers. There's like fear, there's doubt, there's ignoring the doubt, there's rejection, there's
Yeah.
I hate feeling rejected. Then
Yeah.
there's but once you deal with the upmost layer, then the layers tend to fall apart. So
And
it's
then you
like,
get to the bottom of it.
yeah. So if you can't accept it, can you accept that you don't accept it?
Beautiful. I like
Like
that.
that's yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
Okay.
So can you accept it that you can't accept it? I guess that would actually reflect in all the areas of your life. Beautiful.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, so with that, I'll move to my next question. So someone said that if someone is conscious about their looks, and I'm sure that a lot of people are, and just not
Yeah.
about looks, the way even, I think a lot of people have a very hard time accepting their own bodies, to be at peace with it, the way they look, the way their bodies are. And if a person like that enters into a relationship, now from both the side, how that particular person should deal with it, and if someone has a partner like that, then how can that partner help in, actually can
Yeah.
help the partner, yeah, the other partner.
So, fun fact about relationships is that, or dating in general, is that you don't have to think you're attractive to find, like, for someone else to find you attractive. You can think you're ugly and revolting, and someone else might still be like, damn!
That's what I was looking for.
Yeah, exactly. But they
Yeah.
might not think you're ugly and revolting. They might think you are just the most beautiful person in the entire world. If you So, fun fact: this is
Yeah.
actually an area of expertise that I'm currently developing. I'm coining it weight loss through meditation, but really it's about body acceptance and
Okay.
creating your ideal body through the same processes and principles we're talking about now.
Okay.
If you are someone who doesn't like your appearance, what I would suggest is a very similar thing. Look in the mirror. Here's an exact thing to do. Look in the mirror, and can you accept and let go of your emotions, your reactions to your own body? Like stand naked and look at it. You're like, oh, I'm fat. I feel ugly. Can you let those things go? Can you let go those emotions? If you're like, or can you accept it that you feel fat? If you're like, oh, but I don't want to feel fat, it's like, can you accept that you don't want to feel fat? And then we shave away those layers and let the real version of you come out. Because I would say most people have an idea of what they want to look like in their head. And issues come when we look at the version of ourselves, or we look down, or we look in the mirror, and those two aren't the same.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with life. We have an idea of what our life should be like, and that's when most emotional issues come out, when our manifested self, the real self, and our manifest destiny isn't the same. So that's a really succinct way for people to go about it. If your partner is dealing with issues, one of the most beautiful things you can do is accept them, like accept that they have issues. Too soon are people in a very similar topic, a strain of topic. This is always going to be a very succinct, very similar line.
Yeah.
Too soon are people too quick to try and solve other people's problems.
Yeah.
Ironically, I'm someone who solves problems for a living, right?
Yeah.
Um,
Yes.
but
Yes.
what happens is we're too quick to solve it. So we see someone else is uncomfortable.
Yeah.
They're like they don't like themselves. They don't like their appearance, and we want to help them. But first, you have to accept them that that's how they feel, because you have to witness in the same way when you witness and accept and let go of your own emotions. You can see, and then you develop a higher acumen. You can actually see, because what they might be dealing with might be different to what you might be dealing with.
Right.
So this is actually a topic that really pisses off my partner, to be honest, because I'll be like complaining about something and she really wants to jump in and help me. She really does. But I'm like, no, 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 I'm not ready for the answer to be solved, because sometimes people have to struggle a little bit before they find the answer. Sometimes struggle is part of the thing. So if you are with someone who is currently having body image issues,
Right.
you can accept it. You can let them have their body image issues, which might be really fucking hard for you because you love them.
Yeah.
But if you really want to help them, just trust in, like, work on yourself. Because if you're making healthier choices, you'll inspire them to make healthier choices. It's like an aura. Like, your aura will be so beautiful and wonderful. Like, for
Right.
example, my partner is healthier than I am. When I'm with her, I eat better. That's why I'm working on my own thing with the weight loss through meditation thing that I'm like working on. I noticed that when I was out of her aura, out of her space, I want to eat a lot. I'm like, holy shit, I want to eat. I'm eating shit food that I don't even like. But that was because I had guilt. I had guilt around food, and I had to eat the food in order to experience the guilt, in order to let that guilt go, if
Okay.
that makes
Okay.
sense. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
So,
Yeah.
one more thing that you said that people have those issues because I mean, they need to look in the mirror and they have to come to peace with it that
Yeah.
I'm okay not accepting it. So there are
Yeah.
two ways at it. One is that when I look myself in the mirror, and like you said that we have this imagined version of ourselves and what we are.
Yeah.
I think most of the times what happens is that sometimes it just take a bit of hard work that we are not doing to get into that imagined version. And when we look at it, it's not more about the looks. It's actually that I'm not putting in that effort when I know that I can be like that. And that's where all your insecurities come out. That okay, this is me
100%.
who's lagging behind and not the situation. It's not that this is how it is.
Yeah. So I 100% agree. Everyone is different, right? Everyone is different. It might be hard work, it might be sadness, it might be whatever. The method that I'm suggesting now is a method so that way there is less hard work. That hard work becomes easy work because it's part of you. It's you expressing yourself. You're
Right.
not adding layers. It's just you exercise because you like to exercise. And things become a lot more synchronistic and synergistic with each other. The reason why I'm saying this is because hard work can only get you so fucking far.
Okay.
And I say this from my own experience of, like, I would work out twice a day. I would run 2, 3 times a day. There's only so much time that you have.
Yeah.
There is only
Yeah.
so much time. There's only so much willpower. This healing method that I'm talking about, like looking and accepting and letting go and all of this stuff that I'm sharing, is from a point that eventually adding all of these things to do becomes too much. And it's going to get you somewhere, but can only get you so far.
Right.
On a very similar topic, I worked really hard. I'm now fitter and healthier than I've ever wanted to be in my whole life. I'm stronger than I've ever wanted to be, but I'm still like, let's let that go. Let's heal it. And I'm finding now I'm attracted to yoga. I'm stretching or everywhere. Like, I'm waiting for a drink and I got to stretch because I feel my muscles are like, there's something in there I need to stretch out. It's not that I'm like, oh, I got to stretch. I got to do this. I am the opposite to every other person you will interview in your podcast, in your show. Everyone else will tell you what to do. You got to work harder. You got to do this. You got to do that. I'm like, you got to work less harder. You're trying too hard.
Yeah.
That's
Cut
that.
yourself some slack. Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm saying cut yourself some slack and just, I mean, take it
Yeah.
easy. Yeah.
It's like, you will work hard later. It's fine. But so many people start things without the proper emotional infrastructure first. So they're like, I got to work out, but they're not ready to.
Ready.
One of my fucking favorite examples of this, who did it right, is Terry Crews. Do you know who Terry Crews is? He's an American actor. He's a huge black guy. He's this big comedian man who's in he's in Brooklyn Nine-Nine. He used to be a rugby player. You know who he is?
Yeah, now I got it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So he has a story. I'm pretty sure it's him. If you're watching this, Terry Crews, I'm sorry if I got it wrong. But he has a story where when he first started, when he was like, I want to work out, this is part of who I am, he hated it. So he would just go to the gym and read a magazine. And he'd read it, and he eventually, after, I don't know, weeks or months of this, he got bored of reading a magazine and was like, I've just got to lift some weights. Because something was better than nothing.
Yeah.
That he took the time to build the emotional infrastructure.
Yeah.
People want to hustle, but they're not ready to hustle yet.
Yeah.
People want to hustle, but they've got guilt, they've got shame. This is why it's really funny. I thank you for listening to this as well. I will talk to people who are very successful and they started too early, so they'll lose their success because their body, they have to go backwards. They have to go backwards to deal with some past issue. So they'll lose the business, they'll lose the money, they'll lose all this stuff until they deal with that issue, then they can succeed. Same thing. A friend of mine, he's learning a little bit about letting go. You know, I was teaching him a bit. He lost all of this weight and then gained all the weight back because he has to deal with a past issue. Fun fact to tie this back into dating. Another friend of mine that I was helping was struggling with online dating.
Okay.
I told him, let it go. Stop trying. Delete the apps. You'll be fine.
Yeah.
And a similar topic of going back to the past, right? This is why I call it synchronistic. It almost seems like the universe, God, something is helping you out. His first ever girlfriend got in contact with him. And now they are dating.
Without the dating apps.
Yeah, without the dating apps. She messaged him through Facebook. You have to deal with the past. Otherwise, the past will either come back to you or whatever. It'll keep happening. It's this beautiful ballet of cosmic everything coming together. And until you deal with those emotions, you will keep being forced back to that time.
Right. But I so resonate with you what you said that generally what happens is that we have a goal. Like this is the whole, I think, goal setting thing that has really screwed up our heads. That, you know, you have a goal, you need to really have the checklist ready, that this is what all I need in terms of logistics. But we talk about what I need to have to attain that. We really don't address our emotional or our mental makeup at that point of time.
Yeah.
You said it so right that, you know, are you emotionally ready for it? Because
Yeah.
I think we are emotional beings and we all are driven by our emotions. Till the time you are not ready with into your emotional space to let it come in, you won't be able to do it. I think very beautifully put up by you. I mean, I totally get it. I think
thanks.
other people also get that. Yes. So moving on to my next question. How good is it to be super frank in a relationship, or should one indulge in white lies? Do white lies help, or can they really screw up your relationship?
Good question. I'm all about honesty. That's one thing that I preach. People will disguise honesty. They'll disguise being an asshole as honesty. They'll be like, "Oh, I'm just being honest with you." You know, like people who probably have some shit to deal with as well. I'm like, yeah, I'm just being honest. So they'll use honesty as a tool just to manipulate or to be a dick. I imagine if your soul is like a volcano and the truth is like the stuff pouring out the top. That's what I feel like it should be like. It's like you express yourself. I'm constantly telling my partner how beautiful I think she is just because I can't help it and I don't want to help it. Life becomes easier when you have to do those white lies less.
True.
The more honest you are, the easier it becomes. I'm all about dating specifically not being something that you do, being something that you are. So if you have to but I've got to white lie every now and then, why do you have to white lie? Are you protecting yourself from something? Do you not want to be hurt? If you can let go of that feeling of being hurt, like the underlying layer, you will no longer have to white lie and things will become easier, faster, better. It's just nicer not to lie. It's just nice.
But if someone asks you that, you know what, have I put on weight? And you know that you have, but then you know that if you're going to tell this, your partner might just feel a bit dejected or a bit like,
you can be nice about it.
Gonna be in a grumpy mood. So I guess that's the whole point of white lies. That okay, fine, I don't think so. I need to put him or her in that space right now. I think we can do away with it.
Yeah.
That is the reason we say a bit of white lies. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I guess so. But look, if my partner had put on weight, I'd probably look, there's more of you to love. You don't have to be an asshole about it. And she's very honest with me. I'm using my own example because this is I haven't seen another relationship that is so honest. That's why I'm using my own relationship as an example. Even with people I'm working with, they're getting there. But she'll say to me, she says to me, she thinks she's healthier than me. and she works out more than me, even though I used to do a lot more and stuff like that. Now I'm being a nut easier on myself. But what happens is, it's I'm going to put this into words for the very first time. Thank you for being at the forefront of my consciousness. People are so afraid of hurting each other
Yes.
that they never speak their fucking truth.
That's true. That's true.
There is a point where you realize that it's like you're afraid of hurting someone, you're afraid of someone leaving you, so you never express yourself fully.
Yeah.
But when you're okay, I'm okay losing that person. It's okay if they're in my life. It's okay if they're not in my life.
Yeah.
I'd like them to be in my life. You actually open it up more. It's the difference between like confidence versus arrogance, or inviting versus insisting. There is a, oh God, sorry, my light just fell. I have a really great light that's terrible. Basically, it's okay if your partner feels a bit insulted.
Are you serious? I mean,
Yes. If we were dating and you put on weight,
you would tell me right on my face.
to be honest, I wouldn't care. Because I'd be like, maybe you have to put on weight right now. Maybe that's your journey. But if I know that you didn't want to put on weight, I'd be like, hey, I think you've put on weight.
So then
You have,
I get
not even I think. And you would hate me for it.
Yes.
But you would be hating yourself through me.
Yeah, right.
So I would just be a good punching bag for you because you don't like your own body and you hate that I told you the truth.
God, you just like right now made it sound being honest with a higher purpose, that because you don't want to face it, so let me do it for you.
Yes.
I will allow you to hate me, so that eventually you get to that point where you would love yourself. Yeah, right.
Yeah, but we do that anyway. Like it's funny. Like I say this to my partner all the time. If I get really anxious about her doing something, I'll be like, "Thank you for being a good vessel for me to deal with my own shit." Because we project onto other people.
Yeah.
We project. We hate other people because we hate ourselves. Yeah. We hurt other people because we're hurting ourselves. Look, just one example. If you ever see someone tell you off for something, if they put you down for something, you better fucking believe that they are putting themselves down in the same way, in the same situation. If they are in it. If they are not in it, they won't do it.
Yeah.
Limit of their personality, the upper and the lower limit. Yeah, anyway, that answers, there you go. Nice. I hope that answers the question.
Absolutely. In fact, taking forward your honesty point where you said that we should be honest about everything. So tell me one thing, that they say that right after you're in a relationship, after some time when the honeymoon period is over and you start feeling physically or sexually attracted to other people. Now in that case, because that is, I guess most of the people say that that's one of the genuine feelings, you can't help it, you can't even push that away. So how to have that conversation with your partner, because that can really screw your relationship.
Well, I think it's worth having a conversation with your partner early. If they're not the kind of person who recognizes that and being like, we're going to probably be attracted to other people, but having a good frame of understanding and saying, hey, it's like a dance, right? Sometimes we pull away just to bring ourselves closer. If you're afraid of your partner being attracted to other people, you'll never realize that maybe they had to be attracted to someone else briefly to realize that actually, no, you were better. So it's this frame. It's a really nice frame of understanding. Sometimes attraction is going to happen. Sometimes it's not going to happen. It's a part of life. It's a hard conversation to have.
Yeah.
So it's a conversation it's worth having early if you feel like it's happening.
Okay.
Because if it's too late, it's all these bullshit layers might pull the relationship apart, if that makes sense.
Yes. I think what you said right at the start of the conversation, that to be in that space, to be comfortable with the fact that your partner might stay, your partner might not stay, but I really need to be honest about it. I think when you become fearless and you are operating from that space that it's okay, even if I lose out on my partner, but I really need to have this conversation.
Yeah.
Expression of whatever energy you're building up inside you.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Perfect. Perfect.
I love when you iterate things, by the way. Like when you say the stuff that I'm saying back, I'm like, man, you say it better than I'm saying it. I'm like, you should be doing my job.
Let's
but, but you see, this is just, first of all, this is another example of me being honest, by the way.
Thanks.
Like, I'm just saying whatever I feel needs to say. Like, it's the volcano coming out. I'm like, fuck, why are you more eloquent than I am? And this is what I do. Like, what is this? What is wrong with this? But yeah, anyway, keep talking.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. That's really nice compliment. Thanks. I mean, I'm just starting out, so this really means a lot to me. Thank you.
You're going well. Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, so moving on next, that when someone is in a serious relationship, or even if I'm saying that you are with someone that you really love, and this guy loves you, or this girl loves you, and the next thing that you are thinking about is marriage, but your partner might not be evolving in terms of the emotionality at the same pace that you are. How to analyze that? I mean, is it even worth going into it? Is it even worth waiting it out? How to basically analyze when you really, in your head, the next step is marriage?
Two things. You can have a discussion. Hello, I'm interested in marriage.
Yeah.
Are you? No, not yet. Maybe. Just recognize sometimes no just means not yet. That's a big thing. And the other thing is, if people do want a trick you can do is to joke about it.
Yeah. And check their reaction out.
Yeah, you can check their reaction.
Yeah.
I'm not really a fan of playing games, though. I find when you deal with this stuff that holds you back, like, you might accidentally make these jokes automatically. Like, it's a natural evolution. It's an expression of who you are. But honestly, just having a discussion, like a frank discussion, there's nothing wrong with that. A very common theme of these questions is people are hiding. They're like, how do I find out the answer without asking? How do I do this without actually dealing with it? Like, it's like, talk.
Yeah, just talk, just communicate. Yeah.
It's simple. Like, that's why I'm less so extravagant about this particular question. It's just like, it's the same answer to every other thing we've been saying.
Yeah.
Honestly,
I think just be honest. Yeah, just be honest. Yeah.
Especially if you're being honest, then it's not going to be such a big deal because you will say it as it comes up. So you're like, oh, I could imagine you being my husband, or I could imagine you being my wife. Yeah. Like stuff like that. It's not going to be, are we going to get married?
Yeah.
The conversation will already be happening because you've let go of the stuff that is holding you back. So it's not going to be a big deal later. It'll be a lot of small deals.
Yeah. Basically, be honest. Give yourself that space to express, because once you have let that baggage out, then it's the other person's problem to deal with it and not yours anymore.
Yeah.
Right?
And it's the same perspective. It's like, I'd like to get married, but if you don't want to get married now, I'm okay with it. People love that. It's like space. It's space for them in your life. If you're like, I need to get married now, they're like, oh God, like
I need to run. Yeah, I get it.
Go find someone who wants to marry you. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay, so if you are in a relationship with someone who's hopeless romantic, and you are someone who doesn't know how to express, what efforts should you make then? Like, because all the efforts are then taken care of by this other person.
Okay. Hello. Yes. I know that you are a hopeless romantic. Yes. I thank you and appreciate you for all the effort that you have put into this. I just want you to know that I am really terrible at expressing this. I know you're shit at this. That's why I do it. Okay, so I'd like to express myself more to you, but it might be in my own unique way. Are you comfortable with me trying to express my romance to you more? Yes. It might be weird because the way you express yourself might be different to the way I express myself. Are you comfortable with that? Yes, I am. Thank you. This was a nice conversation. You're too. Fucking honesty.
Just communicate. Just be honest. Just talk
Yeah.
about it.
It's if you're in a relationship,
Yeah.
you'd hope that you can collaborate. Like love doesn't require collaborations. You know, like you can love someone without them loving you back. That's fine. Relationships do.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a simple way about it. Often people are afraid of people's reactions. That's fine. That's why I did a joking role play just now to show what it would be like in a good, like an honest conversation, like where two people are happy, healed, they're whole. It's fine. But it's 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 being okay as well. Before you have this conversation, you might have to be okay with the other person not like
Not being okay about it.
yeah, being okay. They're like, yeah, I'd like you to express it more. It's like, but I'm shit at it. I've accepted that I'm shit at it. Can you accept it?
Yeah.
No. It's like, well, then what can we do to help you accept that? Because I'm bad at this. I want to get better. Help me.
Yeah.
There's honesty in that, but honesty requires work because sometimes there's layers in the way that stop from being so pure honesty. Yeah. There is pure honesty. Yeah.
I think what you said is that the person needs to accept their own self, that you know what, I'm shit at actually expressing. Once you deal with it, then you're like, I'm shit, dude. I can't do this. Can you?
There you go, saying exactly what I'm saying in a much nicer and better package.
Perfect.
You should team up.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Next question. How to handle someone who is going through a divorce? I mean, if you are with someone, if you've seen someone who is having a troubled relationship or maybe a bad marriage or coming out of it, how to handle someone like that or even their relationship in depth?
Hello. I'll make this quick. I recognize you're going through a divorce. What are you looking for? Are you like a rebound or not? No, eventually you're going to have a conversation that is like, what's the nature of the divorce? Those divorces are really complicated. Sometimes they're with someone who doesn't want to get divorced. Sometimes they're separated. Sometimes they're going to be separate for years, depending what country, before they can get a divorce. Shit is complicated. Sometimes they've got kids. You have to ask, what's the nature of your divorce?
Okay.
And here's the thing. If that person is hiding it, they have shit to deal with. They are not ready. If they're like, I didn't want to talk about my divorce. If they were intentionally hiding it from you, if you've been dating for a while, maybe on the first date they might not want to say it because they're not comfortable.
Right.
You gotta forgive people for that. That's okay.
Yeah.
But if you've been dating for like a month or like a couple months or dare I say years, and they are not comfortable with talking about it, you got to seriously question their readiness to even be in a relationship with you.
Or maybe even divorcing for that matter.
Yeah. Divorce them. You divorce them because they're divorcing someone else.
True that. But
sorry, keep talking.
No, but then is your answer, I'm assuming, since we have spoken about expression and honesty and acceptance so much, I'm believing that your answer to my next question is also going to be the same.
Maybe. We'll see. Yeah.
Which is that a lot of people, and this has come from a female friend of mine, and she said that she has wasted so much of her time being in relationship with men who are emotionally unavailable, and after that she's been single for such a long time that now even when she wants to be in a relationship, this whole baggage comes, right? And now she is afraid, she's scared that whether she should be, whether she's gonna try the same emotionally unavailable men. What should she do about it?
Well, first step she should do is she should set up a call with me because I need to talk to her specifically. But truth be told, this is a blessing for her.
Okay.
The reason why I say it's a blessing for her, I know I have a very odd perspective sometimes, but the reason why it's a blessing for her is because life has given her layers, right? Here's her soul, right? Who she is as a person. Life's given her layers. Emotionally unavailable men. Now she's hurt. Now she's afraid. Now she's not doing anything about it.
Right.
when she systematically, when she learns to heal herself, I would say focus on healing first. Don't worry about relationship. Focus on healing your reaction to these emotions, learning to accept them, learning to, you'll shed these layers and they'll go and they'll go and they'll go and they'll go and they'll go. And she will actually, she'll be wholer and better and stronger because of it. But that's if she decides. She has to decide, is she going to let herself this, is she going to let this tear her down, or is she going to allow herself to grow because of this? Because what can she do? Can she try her best to force herself to date? Sure. That probably won't help her. It might help her, but it probably won't. I would say accept that sometimes people are going to hurt her. I would say she hasn't accepted it yet.
The same thing that we spoke about.
Yeah, the same thing. It's the same answer over and over again. And I mean this, I'm not a broken record. The same answer has to come out. Because sometimes if you deal with an emotion and there's more of it, sometimes you just got to deal with it more. But and that might be hard. Like, again, but can you accept that you don't accept that you're not like, that you're not into that space, if that makes sense? Yeah. This is a huge area. There are a lot of people out there. If I decided I would single-handedly niche down on people who are only attracting emotionally unavailable people, like, my shit would skyrocket. Like, my thing. But I like to be too general. I like the whole general thing. There are a lot of people out there who are dating people who are emotionally unavailable, and they get hurt, and it's okay to be hurt. That's the thing. It's okay to be hurt. It's okay to attract these emotionally unavailable people. They might say, but I don't like it. Well, it's okay not to like it. It's okay. That's the thing. It's like we want to protect ourselves from it, but we haven't dealt with it yet. It's like looking into the sun. We're like, I don't want to look into it. I'm not saying look into the sun. I want a better example. That's a really terrible example. The example before, looking at the dirt in the room.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't want to do that. There's just too much dirt. It's like, but you're going to have to look at it. It might hurt, but once you deal with it, you get better at it. And then, very specifically, you get better at noticing these people. You'll notice that they do certain things, that they say certain things. I'm not here speaking to that person, so I can't like help her notice those things. If I was coaching her, I'd help her notice those things. I'd help her let these things go. But she has a wealth of experience of seeing emotionally unavailable people, but she hasn't accepted that might be an example yet, so she hasn't learnt from it fully.
It's basically something that is inside her only, because like you said that, we actually, what we are dealing with or what we are going through is what we reflect on other people, and that's the kind of people we attract. So there's something that she needs to heal. Yeah,
so if she's hurt, this is the hardest thing to say, right? Because I hate saying this to people because sometimes people fucking hate it. If she's hurt, especially in dating life, I know the world is very political right now, so I'm trying to keep my words very nicely. Yeah. So in dating life, little asterisks.
Yeah.
Sometimes.
Yeah.
Asterisks.
Yeah.
If you are hurt, you will attract people who hurt you. They'll help you deal with that hurt. They'll bring it out of you until you deal with it and go, I'm okay being hurt. I'm over it. I've let it go. I know how to deal with it. I'm stronger because of it. And then you can go up to people and you'll be like, hey, because you have developed that acumen, right? This person will go on a date. She'll message someone and be able to be like, oh, fucking red flag straight away. I've dealt with this guy, dealt with this guy, dealt with this guy, not doing it, right? A really good example. A lot of this is about acceptance. A really good example is my sister recently went through a transformation with her dating life. She used to have this belief that she was like, I'm too up there. I'm too high functioning for a lot of men.
Right.
So there was a lot of wasted energy on that emotion. She was like, I'm too high up there. I'm too out there, whatever. Then she finally accepted it. She's like, I'm a high functioning fucking person. And suddenly she started meeting people who were in alignment with her, because she accepted that. So now I don't want to say it because certain things, she doesn't want to put too much pressure on it. So I'm not pushing too much pressure on it too. But she met people who are like, they've started businesses and all of this stuff perfectly aligned for her. It's alignment. You will see that the people will align, but you have to deal and look at the emotions, raise that vibration. Look at it, let your soul come out, make space for it.
Right.
Yeah.
I really loved it when you said that, it's too much of wasted energy on that particular.
Yeah, wasted energy. Yeah. I don't want to be hurt.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. That's so true. I mean, the fear, something that we are actually fearing or we are trying to ignore. The whole
Yeah.
focus is it's like blinders on, and the whole focus is that object, that feeling, and there's so much of actually energy we put in there which is totally wasted. So
Yes.
true. So true.
100%.
That absolute resonated with me. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Really loved what you said right now. Yes.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you. And okay, this is, I guess, the last question that we have, because I wanted to end it with a typical question, which I'm sure, because I've seen your videos, I've seen all of your videos, and you've
All of
spoken
them.
majorly about
Jesus,
it. There's
that's a lot of
201 videos, including today's, I guess, 202 videos.
Oh,
God,
yeah.
there's so many
Yeah.
videos, yeah. But I think you're doing a really fab job. I really have to tell to other people, if you haven't watched his videos, go on YouTube, find him out, and it's amazing. That I'm sure that hearing him speak, he's very animated, and the best thing that I really like about you is that you're not that just preachy self telling people do this and do that. You really break out into this one side of yours, which suddenly makes everything so relatable. So that makes it really interesting. I mean, you're very engaging, so that makes it interesting for the other people to sit and watch. Else, I mean, I'm sure that there's so many channels out there, but not that not that conversation. Yes.
Oh, thank
but
you.
moving on to the other question, the last question. Yes. These were like I literally put asterisks there because this was one thing constantly asked: how to make him or her commit to me, and how to deal with ghosting, which you have already made enough number of videos.
Yeah.
Still.
They're gonna ghost you. Fuck them. No, but
Yes.
how to make them commit to you?
Yeah.
Be someone worth committing to. Like, would you commit to you? You're like, yeah, look at me. It's like, really? But truth be told, some people aren't going to commit because they aren't ready.
Yeah.
Like I said before, sometimes it's like they're like an entree. Sometimes they're a main course. Like it's like they are like in your life. They might be there to help you heal. They might be there for a moment. They might be there for a lifetime. You might be there as well. I like to think sometimes relationships sort of like having a cup of tea with someone. Like, do you want to have a cup of tea? If they say no, they don't want a cup of tea. If you can treat commitment like that, it'll be a lot easier later on. It won't be like it's a big deal to be rejected, and then it won't be like this big deal. A good majority of the time, what I notice is people who are like, but they don't commit or whatever, is they can't see how the person is already committing, because they're like
not committing.
Yeah, so they can't see how the person is already committing. So they have an idea in their head what commitment looks like. The other person has an idea in their head what commitment looks like, and they can't see it. They can't see each other, so it feels wrong. If that makes sense.
Elaborate a bit more, because I had a bit of problem with understanding that part. Yeah.
Okay, so my a good example was growing up. I was always very busy. I'm still very busy. To me, time is really important. To me, commitment means I give someone priority.
Okay. Right.
I remember I was dating someone when I was a lot younger, in my teens, and not teens, later on, like 20s.
20.
And they saw commitment as, they didn't see that as commitment. They couldn't see me giving time as commitment. So they kept asking me, can you commit more? Can you commit more? Can you commit more? And I'm like, but I am committing. Like, you can't see that. Ask the question again, because I've gone off on a tangent.
Yeah. So, I mean, how to make him or her commit to you?
Just make space for them.
Okay.
In the same way you make space for love in your life,
yeah.
Can you make space for them? Like, can you see where they're at? You can't make someone commit to you. if you can accept that you can't make someone committing to you, you will become better at that. They have to, the first step for this question, how to make someone commit to you, accept that you can't make someone commit to you. They can leave you in any moment. They could
Even after committing, that's true. That's true. I mean, even after committing to you, they can still have that option to leave.
They have the option to leave. It's like, have you ever do you have a cat?
No, I'm a dog
Okay.
person, not a cat.
Okay. Well, with a cat,
Yeah.
it's very hard to get a cat to sit on your lap.
Yes, that I've seen that. Yeah.
This morning, one of the cats we have in this house, I say cats we have in this house, they're not my cats. Are they anyone's cats, really? Chose to sat on my lap.
Okay.
I have learnt
Yeah.
very painstakingly what it looks like when a cat wants to sit on my lap. I have to make space for the cat to sit on my lap. But what's unique for the cat? If I'm like, sit on my lap, the cat will be like, fuck you! This isn't comfortable. So take what you will with that metaphor. I can't be bothered explaining it any further, to be honest. This whole call we've been going for an hour and 17 minutes. Oh my. This call has been really good. You've really pulled a lot out of me. So I'm feeling like I run a marathon. So I'm a bit like, Jesus Christ, I need to have a tea now.
Yeah, no, that's one problem with me. Okay, I have a verbal diarrhea. I can say so that I just like flow. I don't have time limits. I set time limits for myself, but then I'm so engaged in conversation and like I'm getting the best content out. Let's just fuck time right now. Let's just listen to
No, that's cool. I like that too. I'm generally someone who I run on very little sleep. I am like these. Okay, just as a quick aside. These high achieving people you talk about that are like.
Yes.
Yeah.
Get up at 5 and do this and do that.
Yeah. This week, in the last couple days, I worked like all through the night. I got to bed at like 10 a.m., slept for a few hours, get back up again, do work, go work up all night. Like the same shit that I'm talking about, like letting go of your emotions and like dealing with it and stuff like that. I've started to realize fatigue. People get a lot more emotional fatigue before they actually get tired. Like now I know that I'm tired when someone asks me a question and I'm like, yes. Like the reaction is slow. I think the 5 a.m. club is bullshit. It's like people have messages like, oh, 5 a.m. club, I got early up. And I'm like, it's like, I haven't slept yet. Fuck you. But it's 10 a.m. and I haven't gotten to bed. But point of the story, I can't remember why I'm saying this, to be honest. The energy stuff is I'm now in a phase where I've recognized I have stuff like emotional issues around coaching, around videos and my business that I've been suppressing for a very long time. So now I'm actually letting those things come out. So when I say, oh God, I'm emotionally tired, that's me now being excited because I'm like, oh, I can deal with this. I can let this go. This is another layer for me to let go, for me to look at, accept. I'm going to get tired. I can, the same process I'm talking to you about with the dating stuff. I apply this to everything. And I am so pumped by that. Anyway, give me 1 second. I've got a heater on and I am boiling right now. Sure. Okay, so make someone commit. What was the other half of the question?
That how to deal with ghosting.
People are going to ghost you.
Just accept it.
Yeah, people are going to ghost you. I have a very popular video online that's like, what text message to send someone if they ghost you?
Yeah, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's just like, are you in or are you out? Like, fucking, just tell me what's up. And that's, that's me giving people my energy to be like, look, just be honest. Here's what you want to say. Fucking say it. A lot of people have got a lot of good energy out of that. But people are going to ghost you. If you're avoiding ghosting, if you're wasting this energy, people are going to ghost me. I don't know. What am I doing? Am I in? Am I out? Like, you're never going to notice the signs. Signs might be that they're like fickle, that they like don't, that they're not into you, not out to you. For example, what I used to do when I was single, before when I was very regimented. Now I don't give a shit, right? when I was very regimented, I would make sure that every date started at the same location. I took control. We're meeting at this location, this train station. Very important. If a person was like, no, let's just meet at the bar that you said we're going to meet at, I was like, this person's like, they're not ready. They're fighting me. They're whatever. Like, you will notice the signs. I'm not here to tell you the signs, not in an interview like this. This is a very high consciousness interview. The questions you're asking, the people that are asking you questions, all wonderful people, all fantastic questions, right? They're not like, just tell me what to do. If someone was in that space and they asked that question, I'd tell them like, what are the signs? It's like, the signs is that they don't text you back. So like, it's all very complicated. It's all very vague. And so it's even hard for me to express sometimes. Like, I need to see the situations to be like, hey, so my job then as a coach is to help other people be able to see those situations.
I understand that.
Yeah. Anyway, yeah.
So whatever like we have spoken so far, I can safely say that I'm not gonna take much time of yours.
That's fine. Take time. I don't care anymore. Now that I said that, I'm over it. Right? I looked at it. I accepted it. I let it go, and now I'm fine. Let's go. Another 2 hours.
No, I think you very slyly put it there that you know what, I'm emotionally putting. I'm like, okay, fine. I'm just like.
No, I don't care anymore. I got over it. I evolved very quickly. That's one thing. Yeah.
That's good. So, whatever conversation we've had so far, one thing that I have constantly felt here is that no matter whatever life situation you are in, no matter even if we are talking about something like dating or maybe health and fitness, I think the universal law of that, you know, what you feel is what you attract, what the energy where you're putting in is the energy where it flows, that's what is actually making it grow. Right? Things that we've been hearing about all forever, but we don't realize that it actually works. But now, after talking to you, constantly, this is one thing that I have had the realization of, that it's actually, like you said, that you know, don't waste your energy in that particular emotion or that particular feeling. Right?
Yeah.
Just like let it go. If I'm thinking about ghosting, I would get ghosted. If I'm thinking constantly about that this person's not gonna commit, that person is not gonna commit. You will have to struggle. So, yeah.
Big asterisks on that.
Okay.
Shit happens.
Yes.
We didn't expect the coronavirus to happen. Shit happened. Was that a reflection of collective consciousness? Everyone being like, I want to stay at home. I want there to be a virus. I don't know. We're never going to know. Maybe is the same shit happening in America with the Black Lives Matter. Maybe. I don't know. The point of it is shit happens. So this is, you said it very nicely, universal law. It is a universal law. I have a mentor who talks about it to be the same thing to me. He calls it universal law. I love that he calls it that. I've never heard anyone else say it to me like that. But it's interesting. But point of the story is that I truly believe that this is like the way the world works. But sometimes shit happens.
Exactly. Right.
Someone bit into a bat. They got a virus. It spread worldwide. Life is chaotic like that.
Yeah.
So that's my very big asterisk to that.
Yeah. So if I sum it up, like the whole thing that we have spoken about.
So keep talking. Yeah.
The whole thing is that, I mean, I just wanted to give audience that what is the conclusion out of it? What is the summary of it? A is that, and correct me if I'm wrong, A is that you really need to make emotional space for whatever you're dealing in. You really need to empty it out so that, you know, you should be emotionally ready for whatever it is. Second thing, that don't try to ignore that shit in your room. Just face it, accept it. I'm saying even if acknowledge it. I think acknowledgement is also a big thing, big step towards letting it go. Because once you accept it, and be fearless and be honest. I think these are the four lessons that I've learned from this conversation. That once you are emotionally ready, because once you're emotionally ready, then you accept it. Once you've accepted it, you can be truthful and honest and transparent about it. Then you don't give a shit what other people think. You're
exactly.
Like, this is how I am.
And one more thing I'd like to add, just patience. Sometimes things take longer than you expect them to. and you aren't going to get anywhere trying to hurry the process up.
Yes.
You might get somewhere, but life will take you back.
Yes.
So if you take the time, build the emotional infrastructure, look at what's going on, look at the people, very honest to yourself, honest to them. There's nothing you can't achieve, especially in your dating life.
So I've been a good student. I learned quite
Yeah, you
things.
did. You did a good job.
I was a good student. Yay.
I like the journey
Perfect.
you're on. I think you said before this you're just starting out. I think you're doing a very good job of interviewing a lot of people. What that shows me is that you have made space for success in this area. So what you're doing is like you're streamlining the process of your learning. You're learning from yourself. You're learning from other people. I'm sure but you're ready for it. So it's flooding in. It seems very natural. You're not
Yeah.
trying to force it, if that makes sense. So you going through this journey right now with your step up show is a perfect example. Like you're ready for it. It's flowing. You have the ideas. You're like, let's do this. Let's meet the right people. It's good. If it was forced, it would be like, oh, like you'd reach out to the wrong people. They'd be like, no. Like I've only ever turned down an interview. I've turned down interviews a few times, but there was this one time where there was this lady, and if you're listening to this, you're great. I love you, but Jesus fucking Christ. I'm like, I was ready to talk to her, and I'm like checking out her website afterwards, and I'm talking to her, and I'm like, Jesus Christ, she's not ready for this. She's hurrying it. And I too wasn't ready for interviews at the time. I was like going through some shit. So it was like
That's why she
perfectly aligned.
connected. Yeah.
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 She was struggling, and I watched her videos. When she started out, she was amazing, full of like love and vitality and just brilliance. She was also relationships and stuff. And then her later videos were like it's like she had this dark energy.
Yeah.
But if you watch my videos as well, you'll see I go through a phase as well. Like I start out very vibrant. There's ones where because I don't know if you saw this one. I used to go by the name Harvey.
Yeah.
So like there's a period around that
Wow.
time where my videos are darker. I'm like, none of this is working. Fuck life. It's yeah. But so now I'm in a new renaissance where I'm opening myself back up to things and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, that's you. You're a very good student. You're on a very good path.
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
think it's
Means
good.
a lot. Yeah, means a lot. Really means a lot because with each and every interview, I just try to get better. And I guess you're right because I am emotional. I've made that emotional space, and that is the reason. It's easy for me to connect with you. And then
Yeah.
you also, it's it's beautiful how I have seen. I mean, people that on a normal life, like when I'm not in that state of flow, to me reaching out to people and absolutely in that state, I would have had cold feet. I was like, but they are way out of my league. They are just too big, or they're doing amazingly well. How would I even talk to them? So I think that you're so right that when you're in that space of flow and when you are emotionally ready for it, you just attract people, you let them come in, you sync with it. It's like you're already there in the same energy level. And I think people don't realize it, but I would want to say it again that your energy is the most precious thing. We talk about time often, but I think more than time, I really feel that your energy is so precious. You just protect it and be very selfish when it comes to your energy. Like
Yeah.
you don't like give it to everyone whoever's coming in. Yes.
And that's your gift you bring to the world.
Yes.
Mine is I'm like, open your heart up, be honest, just fucking tell the truth.
Yeah, I think you should be this honest coach. I think you
Yeah.
should be leading something like that, and I think you should have sessions in India as well once the lockdown gets over, of course.
Yeah. I'm planning
Yeah.
to. I did a tour 2015. Was traveling around. That was fun.
Uh,
Didn't go to India, but ideally, I'd like to do a tour again. I'm just
yeah.
seeing how. So I don't know how I want to do it anymore. That's where I'm at now. So I'm letting go of those feelings. I don't have to know how. I'm being patient. Everything I'm talking about.
Yes.
And
Yes.
in
Yeah.
perfect synchronicity, you come into my life. Everything, it's perfect. My partner hates it when I say it's all perfect. So sometimes it's true. It's all perfect. Sometimes it's not perfect.
Yeah, yeah. It's just
But
that it doesn't come across to us that in that situation is perfect. But I think whatever happens, whatever's coming across, it's always in the perfect state that you can have.
Yeah. And if you're fighting it, you're not going to get anywhere anyway.
Yes, you really
You'll
need to
just,
be in a space of surrender, I believe.
yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. Suddenly we have switched from dating to this all, like you said, higher consciousness, always surrender
It's,
and everything.
it's all the same. It's all the same. It's all the same topic, just different words for it.
Yes, yes. So I won't take any more time of yours. I think and I've
Right?
been in love with this conversation. I've had so many wisdom nuggets from you. I learned so much, and I really am. I'm really counting on this that people whosoever would be listening to this and watching this, they are gonna love this, whatever you said. So
Yeah.
before we leave, just tell them that where all can they find you.
Okay. The first thing is if you did like this thing, make sure to listen to it again. You want to like put it in your head as many times as possible.
Yes.
You can find me. Oh, God, this is one of the things I'm learning to let go of. I think my URL is way too long. It's my name at just .com. So I'm assuming it has Sharam Namdarian in the stream.
Yeah.
So my full name .com,
Yes.
sharamnamdarian.com.
Darren.com. Yeah.
Figure out how to spell it. That's not on. I don't. Yeah. Or you can message me directly on Instagram at awesome sharam. Awesome spelled awesome, Sharam spelled SHARAM. I'm not going to complicate it with any more. There's YouTube. You can search Sharam Namdarian on YouTube. I'm there.
Yes.
There's Facebook. I'm there. I used to be everywhere all the time. People would be like, I found you and now you're everywhere.
Yeah.
And I used to really try and be everywhere. Now I don't give a shit. I've let that go. I'm okay being everywhere. I'm okay not being everywhere. But the people who love me really love me. The people who don't, I don't care. Let them find their teachers.
You made peace with this. They're like
Yeah,
they're gonna love me. They're not gonna love me. It's okay.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah.
But that's where you find me. I do coaching. I have online courses as well. I have a couple that I've made that are all about self-love and better connections and stuff like that, helping you look at these layers and shed these layers. They're very useful tools that are online. I also have a book an audiobook on my website that you can get free. That's just a little audio podcast thing. That's how to destroy anxiety, I think, like 3 ways. Basically, same shit we're talking about here. Not gonna lie, it's all the same. I'm not sick of talking about the same topic yet. I don't think I ever will. I'm getting too much out of it. You know what I mean? Like life just gets better every day. That it's like, why would I stop?
Yes, true that.
But yeah, so there's that, and about it. I don't know if that answers the question, but we'll hope so.
Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Sharon, for taking out time. I know, I mean, that I can understand your work cycle right now, and there's too much of things work-wise, I'm sure, on your platter right now. But still making out time and giving all your energy and time over here, like I really appreciate that. Thank you so much for being here. I loved it. I'm sure people are gonna love it, and I really hope that we can do season 2 again. And I would make sure that I talk less. Yeah.
No, don't fucking talk less. Don't. That's your shit. That's now you have to let that go. Talk as much as you're gonna talk.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Oh, yeah.
You're gonna talk. So am I.
Yes.
I got tired at one point. I'm over it. That was good for me. Some people. Here's the way I think about it. Sometimes, some people are in the river. There's a word for it. It's like a Buddhist word. It's like you're not Buddha. You're not enlightened, but you're like just underneath. You're in the river. It translates to in the river. So whatever you do, you're in the river. The river is taking you where you want to go. So if you have arguments, this is what I was saying before, like arguments, no arguments, whatever, it's all going to be good for you. Obviously with exceptions because life happens, right? But some people are stepping towards the river. So like when I was like, oh, I'm really tired. We've been on here for what? How long? An hour 43.
Twice.
I got over it straight away because I said it. It came out, and then I realized that I was feeling tired, and I could let that go. Yeah. You know what I mean? So I'm constantly applying this method to everything. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I hope stay in touch, and I hope that we can do.
Yeah. Don't be a stranger, please. And everyone listening to this, you also don't be a stranger. If you've made it this far, you clearly got something out of
it. Actually.
Yeah, like actually.
Definitely.
Even if it's like you're bored and you're just home alone and you're depressed and you just liked having the company, you still got something out of it. So clearly there was something in this, if not hearing two maniacs just talk about whatever. All right, cool. I'll talk to you soon, and I'll talk to everyone else soon. And you can talk to me on Instagram. Don't be a stranger. Just keep harassing me. All right. Talk to you soon.
Thank you so much. Bye. Take
All
care.
right. Bye.
Bye.